Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 15th of July. So looking at the markets this morning, before I do so, let's just have a look at the event risk, the news events that are coming out today. So we've already seen the Australian data come out there, employment change, unemployment rates. We'll look at the Aussie in a moment. Aside of that, Chinese GDP data came out marginally lower than expected. Wouldn't create a lot of fuss over that. Little miss. But what we got coming, okay, we've got an MPC, a member speaking. Now I should check where he's speaking here. Just speak at inflation outlook. Okay. I think this will probably be batted aside, whatever he has to say. Don't think it will have a great deal of movement there, but you never know. It's 11 o'clock on the pound. I've not been trading the pound lately, so very often. The Philly manufacturing and unemployment claims and industrial production, well, the unemployment claims not really going to be doing too much at 1:30. The Philly Fed manufacturing, maybe we're just sort of seeing this buoyancy around some good numbers. We have got Fed Chair testifying again. He's just doing his best to kick the can down the street all the time in terms of interest rates, tapering, anything like this. I wouldn't expect too much to come from that at 2:30. And that's it really. 11:45. You're still kicking around late in the evening. You've got the New Zealand inflation data, but that's it. So let's have a look at the markets. Starting off today looking at Forex. The Forex markets. Starting off with the euro dollar. Well, the euro yesterday caught quite a bounce actually. And eventually, it didn't. I say eventually, it pretty went from the go get there at midnight and pushed on. It's just come up and done a little bit of divergence on this. Just sort of looking across some time frames, just a little bit of divergence sitting across on the 60 minutes here. We have got an untouched daily pivot below. Now, if we break this sort of level, this 1820 area, I might actually be a little bit more bearish on the euro. It has, as I say, it's got the daily pivot underneath, but it may just get bearish there. It may just bounce off there and off it go. But with that lower, I say lower high, with that divergence being triggered effectively, there may be a bit more follow through. It's early morning. It's just coming into 8 o'clock. We're seeing quite a quick sell here for whatever reason. It's been pushing up through most of the evening. I say most of the evening. Last 3 hours or so, it's been pushing up 3.5 hours, but rolling over now. My preference on the euro is really still to the downside, mainly because I've still got a position short. But aside of that. Just the shape of things here on the 4 hourlies, lower highs, lower lows. But this is a bit of a key area. If it starts pushing back up above the weekly pivot there, well then it could be changing direction. The pound, I'm very wary about the euro, I should say, as well. It seems to have done well when against the US dollar, but not necessarily anywhere else, and that's part of the reason I'm sort of still sitting there. I'm seeing it technically still bearish. So sorry, I should share my thoughts there. Okay, so pound dollar, just consolidation here really on the dailies. It's quite difficult to try and get a read off this. I think I said yesterday, when it's doing what it's doing here, where's it going to go? It's yes, it could go back up to the highs, or as it's trying to push up at the moment, but it could just as easily as the euro's rolling over, it could roll over and just get into a tighter range. So it's a leave it alone job for me. Dollar yen, well, as I said a couple of days ago, this one's difficult in terms of it's risk off and the money's going into the yen. Risk comes back on, and it all of a sudden, even if it's good news and everywhere else and the dollar's being sold, so is the yen. So it's making for a tricky one here. But technically, ignore everything else for a moment and just looking at this technically. Well, if we get a breakdown of that 10953, let's say that sort of area, that will give us a lower high and suggest further downside on the dailies here. More significant correction maybe. It sold off mostly through yesterday, starting sort of midday, and off it's gone really, and it's pretty much going that way now. for the RSI on the bottom here. Yes, just picking up sort of the signs of a bit of a weakness in this move. Now this just could be the fact that it's been consolidating for long periods, and it's just the way the calculation of the RSI or MACD comes out here, and you just as things consolidate, it makes it look like it's weaker. It's not necessarily weaker for the downward movement. It could continue. We'll see how things run, but as I say, it's a weird one because this could continue rolling down and selling off, and the euro and the pound could sell off as well, which normally we would expect this to be bouncing. In other words, the dollar getting stronger here. But anyway, there you go, Aussie dollar. So not a great deal of change here. This is another one that's sort of sitting in a range and not really doing too much at all. I traded the Aussie yen yesterday actually. Which started doing something and then bounced a pip away from my first target. But anyway, Aussie dollar, it's again another one that's quite sticky at the moment and probably best left. Canadian dollar, well, we saw the mention that they're going to continue to taper the amount of money that's flowing out there. And what did it do? As suspected, I was sat beforehand and I saw so many stories of tapering, more tapering, more tapering. Everyone was expecting it, and it's the classic sell the Canadian dollar on the news. It had a little move down and off it went. In fact, if you look at it on an hourly basis, there you go. It literally shot down for a few pips and then completely reversed. It's selling on the news effectively, and the dollar just got the strength there, and it's just consolidated. It's not really benefited it at all from the stronger and more hawkish sort of outlook in the. So there you go, just sitting there soft at the moment. I think there'll come a time when it'll be more maybe of a swing that the Canadian dollar strengthened against US dollar, but not for now. New Zealand dollar, well, did pretty well yesterday. It's put in a bit of a swingy sort of looking pattern on the candles there. Really though, it's quite, I mean, I talk about a mess often. You're looking at this, yes, a break back above the sort of 70.44 area where my cursor is at the moment. It could, you know, just confirm a further higher low and could have further upside, but it's bitty. We spend many hours just drifting along in either session, and it's quite bitty at times. I mean, it was around about 10 o'clock, I think, on quite a few markets. We just saw a move around, but of course that was the I think that was some minutes released or statement released a bit early, but anyway, it was a bit later actually that came through, but a statement from the Fed, but was released before it should have been released. But anyway, nothing for me to trade there. So yeah, that's the way the market is at the moment. Really sitting there looking at the euro from the Forex pair currencies, just seeing what happens here. If it starts, as I say, or continues to push upwards, well, I'll change course and look for the long opportunities. Okay, cross pairs. Quick look at the cross pairs. Euro yen. Lower highs, lower lows running all the way through there, John. I'll have a look at that for you. Euro yen's been good to us yesterday. We had a short in that on my auto trader actually. That triggered through the Asian session. It's nice when you're making money when you're sleeping. But anyway, lower highs, lower lows on that euro yen. It does look like there could be a bit more downside. Aussie yen was one that I'll just show you yesterday. Well, eventually. I say eventually, it was eventually because it bounced here just a pip away from target. Oh, sorry, it wasn't. I'm looking from a daily perspective here. It was a similar bit of price action. There we go, a pip away from the target on this move here. Bounce. It's since sold off. Direction wrong. Maybe the stop was just a fraction tight on that one, but either way, that still looks quite nice and bearish at this stage. And I've been looking across some of these pairs, and yeah, when I took the trade originally yesterday, it looked quite neat, but you can see afterwards it got quite choppy and didn't look so well. But it's looking quite neat. It could have some further downside there on the Aussie yen. So the question on the Swissy, US dollar Swissy, where are you gone? There we are. US dollar Swissy, potential shorts. Well, it's got a bit of divergence. First thing I see when I'm looking at this. Let's come just out from here, have a look. It does look nice though on the dailies. It's been sitting around those lows, and I think the answer for me there would be if it were to break those prior lows proper. Yes, but at the moment, short term, I wouldn't just short. I mean, look, even look, it's good on the 4 hour. It's just this 60 minute. Oh, I'm saying that. Doesn't look so bad, but it has got a divergence. But yeah, if it breaks through and takes these lows out, well, it could be time. Could be it's time for a continuation. I mean, it's a bit of aggressive where it is at the moment because of you're sitting into a divergence. Hasn't been triggered, of course, that divergence. It needs to break this sort of level up here to become bullish, as in more on the buy side for me. But it's still got that divergence. It may just consolidate a little bit more. But yeah, a break of that sort of 91.33 area, John. Yeah, for me would look more bearish and a bit more of a. I'd prefer to wait for the breakout on it and see how strong it is. Okay, there's the currencies today. Let's have a look at commodities, and then we'll move on to the indices. Got to just wait your turns. Okay, so talking of breakouts here, look, we sat there yesterday and it was sitting there with a little rising wedge, and sure enough, it eventually broke out through the day there. It took a bit of time there, but midday came and off it went, and really it's looked reasonably good since. As I keep on saying, it's a time when we'd normally on a cyclical basis demand goes off for the gold during this time of year, and normally we see gold selling off a little bit, but this is just pushing and pushing. Okay, opportunities would be retracements to continue with this. It's looking healthy at the moment. That's your gold. Oil, bit more mixed on oil, and a deal sort of been done with United Arab Emirates. And on the OPEC side of things, that seems to have been agreed, and yet we're still seeing oil really selling off here, and it's came through okay later in the day there, just really breaking the trend line. So simple trend line break, but I say simple trend line, you're going against what is on the bigger side, still was an upward trend, but it does look soft at the moment. One thing to bear in mind though, there is a bit of divergence as well, but that may just be washed out. It does look soft on the shorter time frames, and as I say, even on the 4 hourlies there, it just looks like that could roll over a little bit. Well, I think I said yesterday, if it takes out these lows of these prior lows here, that'll give us a lower high, and maybe see a bigger correction come through. Right, that's the commodities. Let's have a look at the indices. He says, quickly reaching for his charts here. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a look across what's happening in Asia then, looking at the CSI 300, and well, bullish engulfing there of yesterday, looking quite solid. Maybe there's more upside. So yeah, still quite solid there, and that might be showing. No, it's not showing anywhere else then. I was going to say might be showing throughout. Looking at the FTSE's just opened. That's opened on the downside there. I say it's just opened. Is it just opened? 15th. Yeah, we are actually. It's on the futures there. But it's a bit of a delayed number. No, it's not a delayed number at all. That is the open on the FTSE. I'll make my mind up in a minute. The DAX, now this is a delayed figure, but we're showing the futures here, and that's already down a tad. S&P's is my sort of main benchmark. Yesterday, once again, it went in, put a new high in, but has rolled back a little bit, but remaining positive. I wouldn't recommend going against these markets. Yes, the Nasdaq's down a bit there yesterday, but again, it wasn't far off. I don't know if it did make a new high there. It certainly wasn't far off for doing so. And the Dow Jones, likewise, it's off a bit this morning, but again it put a new high in yesterday, or I say nearly a new high. It's not quite a new high there, but either way, these markets, yes, we're seeing these little sell-offs, but they're pushing down. Okay, the DAX is down. Yeah, I must be doing something with the DAX there. it's certainly looking, as I say, negative at the moment. This is a delayed feed I've got here, but selling off this morning. But it's something that's well, actually, Asia's gone the other way, so I don't know what's going on, but certainly selling through these other markets at the moment. Right, whilst I'm here, then indices. I'll just have a look at the finish off with the crypto list here. Just look at the usual suspects. Bitcoin, well, yesterday did grind out a little bit of an update, but it's still in a downward trend. So sorry, but it still looks to me very soft. Not really wanting to spend lots of time on these, because most people are just holding the positions. I know some will trade them, but in which case my bias would be to the downside how these sit here. Ethereum already off again this morning, and Ripple following the suit. Now the ranges on things like Ripple are tightening up there. Yes, it's probably better if you drag it out a little bit and look at what the chart's doing, but even so, it's just drifting south all the time at the moment. Okay, okay, the Russell looks nasty. Haven't got that on the list, John. It's just too many things to try and cover in the mornings. Become a master of a jack of all trades and master of none if we carry on pushing too many more in there. I don't trade most of those indices anyway. The only one I ever really look at and occasionally trade is the S&Ps personally, futures market there, but that's it. Right, I wish you all a great day. That's pretty much it for me. It's just before I go, let's just have a look at where the Treasury, what's happening there. Let's just run this back. The money is just, I mean, this short squeeze effectively has certainly taken its toll on the US Treasuries. We're seeing these yields still heading further south here. Now that's a dollar negative basically normally, but I mean the dollar hasn't held up too badly, but it's quite a dollar negative sign. Anyway, I will wish you as I say, a great day. I'll catch you in the morning. Bye for now.